Hey everybody, this is Clintleetwood, and I'm here with another replay review. This time we also have, again, Dasupah player. They are playing against a player by the name of Chess, or Cheese? I'm not sure. It might be French, but regardless, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to give some background about me. I'm a mid 1700 to lower 1800 rated player in the game. And I like to sit down and review replays of newer players or players that may be struggling in the lower MMR brackets and try to get them to higher heights. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to be stepping through this replay, pausing whenever I see something that I feel like should be talked about, and kind of doing this stream of conscious. So this is probably going to run long, and I apologize in advance, but you know, I have a lot to say about this game, and I really do love it. And I'm going to make a quick little shameless plug before I get into anything here. I do stream over at Twitch. It's just twitch.tv/Clintleetwood, so if you want to tune in and listen to me get salty about things that I don't understand, so we can commiserate, by all means, please do. But also I do some co-commentary with Stoney over at Stoney Mechabellum. If you're not following him, highly recommend it. He's a much better video producer than I am, as this will basically be one take, one shot, without any editing. Anyways, let's get into the game. So we have Dasupah playing aerial spec with Arclight Stormcaller versus Chess with Giant Spec as Crawler Sledge. First initial impressions here. I've been seeing a lot of Stormcaller starts recently. I don't think the unit has gotten like any buffs recently, but it is a very strong standard tool. Typically what I see in the higher MMR brackets is like 2 Stormcallers are just like a constant threat and a constant source of DPS. And if you have units in like unoptimal positions, right? So like, for example, like vertical crawlers or like vertical sledgies, if they ever stop at any point, the Stormcallers basically get to wipe that group. It's a lot of damage. And typically what I also see is that Stormcallers have been placed right about here in front of the tower. And then sometimes what you'll see after that is like a vertical fang up here, or a vertical fang like here, just to stand in front of the units, hold them down, and allow the Stormcallers, you know, the time to do their work. I think it's good to note here that aerial spec, you typically want to be able to abuse your early unlocks. So not taking aerial spec, or rather taking aerial spec when there isn't a unit, a flying unit like Phoenix in the pack, I think is generally good. Something I think I would expect you to see, or expect to see from you here. So I think like Fang would probably be a strong first unlock, and then like probably like in the center here in vertical form. And I think your opponent should consider being on the aggressive here. I think this kind of board would early on do very favorably into this kind of board. So let's see if that is how this pans out, and let's get into the replay. Just going to speed up a little bit. Let's see what we do. Yeah, pretty meta stuff from these crawlers over here. This is pretty normal buttons to have on a crawler. This looks fine, and I think this is also okay. So I'm gonna pause here. Round 1 rapid resupply. This is generally considered very cheesy. The problem with this, right, is we gain the 200 and we get to do this cheeky little wasp play, right? But we have 300 fewer supplies next round, and the way round supplies breaks down is it's 200 times the current round number. So round 1 you get 200, round 2 you get 400, round 3 you get 600, and so on and so forth. The only time where that is untrue is if you have a specialist that is altering that, like cost control or supply, or you have war factories out, which have a upkeep per round, or you have clicked this rapid resupply button. So we are taking a very short-term gain here, and it's going to hurt our long-term game plan, I think. The good news here is that we will win the first round, and the reality, right, is that it will at least be by 400, right, because he has nothing that shoots up, and these units do 200 damage if the entire unit's intact. But the bad news, right, is that the next round, if this player skips, they have 450 credits to utilize. And what that means, right, is that they can just unlock Mustang, drop 2 Mustangs back here, and our cheeky little wasp play is totally hosed. So I would say try to avoid doing this kind of behavior in the future, as I think it's not good as a rule of thumb. If you are looking for a rule of thumb on when you should be clicking rapid resupply, generally the rules of thumb for this is rounds 5 and 6 you should consider it. Rounds 7 and 8 onwards you should. And usually when you're clicking this button, you're also usually clicking this button, and sometimes the temp speed button. The other rule of thumb to apply here is that if you're about to die, like let's say it's round 4 and you have like 200 HP up here, we should be clicking the rapid resupply every time. Probably until we do die or we win, if that does happen. But let's see how this shakes out. You will win this first round, but I think the second round is going to swing very heavily into your opponent's favor, and it's going to be an upwards battle from there on out. So both players take their free unlocks this round. In this case, Dasupah took Wasp, and Chess took Arclight. So cool stuff. Some minor critique about positioning here. Some of the stuff, I think this works out, right? I think we clear all the crawlers just fine. But some of the stuff I have been seeing generally is that we'll have like Arclight here, and Arclight here. And that way we have all of the storm colors tucked in very nice and neatly with chaff clear on either side of it. That way no chaff can really get on it, if that makes sense. But yeah, we're going to win the first round by more than 400, which is very nice. This is a good chunk of damage. But here is where I think it's probably going to swing pretty heavily against you. So here's where it can get really tricky, right? There is a line of thinking here with Nano Repair Kit being available that your opponent could match your rapid resupply this round. That would give them 600. They could unlock a giant, right? So they could unlock like Fortress or something like that. Oh, we take another rapid resupply. We are going fast, huh? So they could take like a rapid resupply. They could sell off one of these units, like this sledgehammer, right? And then they could click AA for it, put a nano repair kit on it, and your entire board will fold to it. Another thing I want to point out here is that I think double marksman here is a bit of a mistake. I think I understand your reasoning. I think you want to try to remove these sledgehammers as quickly as possible, and also have a good single target for these arc lights, which is fine. That makes sense to me. But the thing I think you probably want to be considering here is just chaff. Just like a pair of vertical fangs like here and here. These crawlers would all get pulled in to either here or here. and would basically die to either the arc lights or the stormcallers, which would allow your stormcallers to then start focusing on the sledgehammers and killing those, and allow the wasps to get in and do the same. So we missile here. This actually might be a good missile. It really depends. Let's see. So yeah, your opponent does unlock a group of Mustangs, and that's going to really hurt. What I think is going to happen with this missile is that these crawlers and arclights should bunch up right about here, which means we should either entirely wipe this and the arclight and some of the crawlers, or a good chunk of these sledgehammers, the arclight, and some of the crawlers. Looks like they missiled back. And see, if we had vertical fangs up here, right, we would catch these missiles and be totally fine, right? Let's see. How does your missile do here? Oh, okay. I see the line of thinking. Oh man, this missile was very good against you. I think this missile should have been a little over, like maybe here. And I think the blast radius would have caught all of that. You know, we did review your replay last, and you did, and I did mention some things about missiles. So this is a good attempt. I think this is a good eye and a good try. At the end of the day, right, your 50 cost missile did just remove 200 supply, so like it's a net positive here. But what's going to happen now, I think, is, oh wow, this even got your marksman. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, so we should be spreading out our marksman just a little more. I think it was here, and your stormcallers were like here. So we might want your marksman to be like back here in these like little corners. Yeah, that's tough. And these stings are just gonna melt. Looks like we're gonna do okay over here though and limit the damage. Okay, we get the sledgehammer, that's not so bad. Yeah, okay. Oh wow. Some very spicy stuff coming up here. Incendiary bomb is great for you. Oil bomb is great for you. Wasp swarm is not so great for you. This is one of the spooky things here though. This Mustang has gained a level, and we are now 300 credits behind where our opponent is. So our economy's in shambles, to put it lightly. This person can basically drop a giant like here and another Mustang back here, and we are hard pressed to have an answer. For me, I think the best card for you here is potentially Oil Bomb. And I think like an Oil Bomb like across this path should slow down a lot of these units so that your Stormcallers can do the work that they need to. But I do see merit certainly for Incendiary Bomb. Wasp Swarm is interesting, only because there are Mustangs on the board. It would make things kind of difficult to deal with here. And yeah, they just go triple, they now have triple staying out. This is gonna become very swingy in your opponent's favor. Something to consider here. I think if we take this Wasp Swarm and put it in like this corner over here, I don't think we leash these. So there is a possibility that these wasps go straight to this tower right here, take it out, nab an early tower kill, and maybe allow us to take the round. But that's a lesson for later, I think. Let's see how this round shakes out. If I'm your opponent, I'm probably mass recruiting more Chaff out. Like Chaff here or here seems fine. Oh, So this is generally very bad. Your opponent just did. I think this button's a bit of a trap. I understand the line of thinking. They're afraid of this unit, and I think a lot of new players tend to overvalue storms. But now the problem becomes your wasps have, again, no real counter. And by that I mean, like, these Mustangs will be so busy shooting down missiles that your wasps will get to sit in the air and DPS. Just so you know, a quick little knowledge check for the people at home that are unaware. If your opponent does run something like AM stings, this button in response, launcher overload, will basically completely neuter any amount of DPS coming out of Mustangs. They will literally be too busy shooting down rockets to do anything else. So that's why it can be a bit of a trap, and that's why you have to be very cognizant of your opponent's techs here. So let's fast forward the round. Let's see how it shakes down. So your opponent does win, but we now have the option of just clicking more Stormcallers, which is probably what I would do in this scenario. Because the other big thing on our Stormcaller tech here is that we have fire. Okay, we're gonna pause real quick. We have fire, and if an incendiary bomb missile lands anywhere along this line, these Mustangs will run into it and they will die. So it looks like the round has now swung back economy-wise back in our favor. We did not loan last round. Good. And your opponent did. So now that 300 difference that we had last round is somewhat made up for here. Some things that we can look at here. What techs do you run? I think those are my techs. Part of me thinks that these Typhoons would be pretty good. There's also reality, right, where this Sabertooth just doesn't die to anything on the field. But there is merit to Wraith and Steel Ball. Honestly, all of these are very pickable at the moment. So let's see what you end up going for. Okay, we go for Wraiths, and we go for Degen Beam. Okay. This seems fine. We go for Brown Specialization. Okay, cool. I think part of me just wants to see more Stormcallers here. But you might say, like, oh, but then they can click this button, right? The reality, right, is no. This is probably the least effective missile interceptor in the game, and this is a very smart usage of Nano by your opponent. This unit has so much HP, and Nano says repairs damage continuously with nanobots. Units equipped with this item recover 4.5% of max HP per second. So that's quite a bit, right? The best way we could probably utilize Nano right now is on our Wraith. So let's see if you end up doing that. In this scenario as well, in our last replay review, we talked about how important levels are on Mustangs. They are also equally important on Wasps. This unit and this unit have some of the highest, like, just damage scaling in the game. They can get very quickly out of control, and once they are out of control, the game becomes miserable for your opponent to play. Let's see how this round shakes out. And and now we're running into this brick wall that is this saber-tooth. Our left side looks like we're doing okay. Nice. It's a good chunk of experience for your Wraith here. Probably is a level, actually. See? Yeah. So, a bit of a knowledge check at home. A leveled Wraith with any sort of item, so like absorption module, heavy armor, or nano repair kit, it will only typically die to a higher level or equal level marksman with tech, so that's like AA spec, equal level or higher level Phoenix with tech, so that's like charge shot, or a melter. Everything else folds to it. This is one of the reasons why this unit can get a little ridiculous and is really a real pain to deal with. But, you know, a neat little thing here is that we see a tie. Not something that we normally see. And, you know, you take 200, but your opponent takes 300. So you're still technically ahead here. Both of you now have 1,000, and let's see how you utilize it. We have a giant specialist that has not unlocked any giant so far, and an aerial spec that has only unlocked technically wasp so far. So something that I would probably be considering here. Oh, that's spooky. Double melting point. So yeah, your opponent understands this now. This is a very smart move by them. There's a world where I think our answer out of this, honestly, still though, is this tech and 2 more Stormcallers. Let's see how it goes though. You take Ion Blast. Let's see how good this is. I think there's a world where we might want to like angle it back, starting here and then like up, like kind of at this trajectory. I know I can't really draw an arrow, but I hope you can kind of see what I'm trying to hint at. So like how this goes like this, I think we would want to go like up, like so along this path. It should catch these as they're moving up, and as these start to settle around here, blast them. But let's see, maybe this is actually just good enough as well. You can even catch the sledgehammers here, I think, a little bit. Oh, very, very nice. Very nice ion beam, actually. And we get the saber-tooth. That's a ton of experience. We're on the tower. We kill the tower, and these wasps should eat this melter for breakfast. Nice. That's a big, big round, Dasu. This is where I'm slamming Incendiary Bomb, and I'm not even thinking about it. Yeah, that is the correct decision. We could go Incendiary Oil, and his entire army dies. His entire army dies. Our army doesn't care because most of it's flying and or sitting in the vac at range, and we get another big win and possibly win the game. So they go range on Melting Point. I don't think that really matters here. We go Overlord. Okay. I think that's fine. They go Aerial Specialization. Yeah, so if we unlock Tower Oil here, allows the use of sticky oil bombs, sprays sticky oil in a straight line, decreasing the movement of units last within it by 55%. Sticky oil lasts for 2 rounds. Something that isn't explained here is that this oil will ignite if it's touched by fire. So we could basically create an entire lake of fire from like this end of the screen to this end of the screen. Everything will run into it. They are very clearly not playing around this, even though they could be dead this round, and we could just kill them here. So this is going to do a lot of damage, though. Let me be clear. Oh, that's a little unfortunate. That gets on the Wraith pretty early on. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think we missed I think we missed an opportunity to win the game right here. This is still a good chunk of damage, though. It's them basically within lethal range. We just need basically one more round. Fire Badgers, yeah. This is great. Good stuff. Probably click on Napalm. Okay, we go for ranged brown speck wasps. Cool. Also, Dossie, right? I know I've mentioned I want Stormcallers, more Stormcallers. There is the other side of the coin for this, right? As in, this person has made a bunch of Mustangs, so they've now clicked the AM button on there, right? The anti-missile button. Something that we can just do here is we can click this field recovery option and sell out of these storms. And that's an extra 400 credits that we wouldn't otherwise have access to that we now certainly do, which can forward our game plan even further. Might even get like a cheeky flank in one of these corners in the earlier rounds. And now the reality, right, is that if we want to lean into this idea of like carry Wasp, which kind of looks like what we're doing, if they want to then match our Wasps with Mustangs, all of their techs are now 200 credits more expensive. So we have 2 techs, and if they want to match with like range themselves, they're gonna have to spend 700. And you know, at round 8, there's 1,600 credits, and that's half of your budget roughly. It's a big deal, and we can be slamming out a bunch of other stuff. We could be clicking range on our overlords and having them sit far in the back. There's a world where I think ground cannon is like pretty strong here, but let's see how this round shakes down. I think there's a very strong possibility where you win it right here. It's another thing to note here. I think these missiles might be a little greedy. I think if I see this many AM Mustangs, I'm just giving up on this idea. Giving up on the idea that to get a cheeky missile might be game-winning. Your opponent goes Sandworm. Seems odd in a predominantly air army. Let's see how this round shakes down. Yeah, there's just too much stuff on the ground. Oh, I mean, you're gifted another incendiary bomb. You take it. Okay, we go nuke. Both players go nuke, it looks like. See, and there's them spending 700 credits. We go nuke. The reality here is that if we are predominantly an air-based army and there's a nuke on field, there's not a lot you can do to save it. Kind of just have to bite the round, and if it's coin flippy like this in this like scenario where if it's do or die, you probably just die, unfortunately. If I were to place a nuke, it'd probably be, yeah, like right here seems good. I'm not sure what the replay just did right there. What? Let me reset that. Did the person just concede? Did I misunderstand? And the person goes photon coding and you go nuke. Wait, did I see that right? Did the person just snap concede to the idea of being nuked here? More wasps, that's fine. I would have certainly thought your opponent would have gone nuke here. I mean, I get it. I get it. The game can be very frustrating at times, and I think that's an early concede. I don't think he loses here. I don't know if we have a great way to punch these shields down in time for the nuke, and I don't think all these Mustangs die, but that's a call by your opponent. You know, a player can concede at any time, so you know that's how it goes. Well done. I would say earlier when you see Incendiary Bomb and you have your opponent in like the lower 2000s range, you should always be considering this button as it is like a term of like an alpha strike, being that you can kind of swing the board so hard in your favor that you might just be able to one-shot your opponent with all of their HP. But yeah, some key takeaways here. If we force out an early tech of like AM Stangs, we either hard commit into this idea of launcher overload Stormcallers, or we just sell out of them. The other thing here is that boat into AM Stings is a little brutal, right? Because the missile can be shot down from this unit. So this is like kind of a use case for where ground artillery would be great that cannot be shot down. And then, yeah, I mean, otherwise, right, this was like a pretty cool little Wasp carry game. These little guys did a bunch of work, and you took your levels when you could, it seemed. So nicely done. In the future, right, I would say you want more chaff. Both players want more chaff. These 3 packs of starting chaff ain't gonna cut it, you guys. If you watch some of the higher MMR games, there's sometimes upwards of like 12 to 13 to 15 units of chaff on the board. And that's a mixture of crawlers and fangs. And the idea, right, is that realistically, all this guy needs is to allow these melting points to do their job, and he wins the game. Similarly, right, you just need to allow these wasps to do the job, and you win the game. So some things to keep in mind in the future. We need to be pivoting out of things that are hard countered on the board, and we need to be building more chat. I still don't feel like I saw this button, mass recruitment, clipped enough this game. So I would say try to find times to lace that in with your turns, so to speak. And once again, I don't see 1-1 being clicked. There's almost always a scenario in these games where we have 200 credits that we can spend on this. Both players ought to be doing this. So yeah, well played again, Dasupah, and I hope you got some useful information out of this. For those watching at home, my name's Clintleetwood once again. Catch me over on Twitch, or I don't know, like, comment, subscribe. That whole YouTube thing. Anyways, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.